My name is Emma Sadleir. I'm a social media legal commentator and expert, and I deal with anything to do with publication and the law. So we're talking about whether you are chatting to your mates on WhatsApp, you're saying something on Facebook, you're publishing your opinion on Twitter, saying something on Instagram. Where do the boundaries of freedom of expression begin and end? What can we say? When can we compromise ourselves? How to look after our own brands? Because we've all become celebrities in the digital age, so we need to look after our personal reputation online.
My name is Maponyane and I work in fashion, media and entertainment, and I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a TV presenter, actor, model. I'm very active on social media, and I've tried to use it to my benefit as much as possible in terms of personal branding, building my own brand, and hopefully not making any silly mistakes that may hinder the progress of that growth.
I think that a lot of people are fearful about social media. A lot of people have been fired in South Africa because of what they've said online. And I think that we've been trying to dispel the myth that social media is only dangerous. Social media can be used to your huge personal benefit if you use it correctly. I know that if I go for a job interview tomorrow, that I'm much more likely to get the job than not get the job because of my social media accounts. But what we do see is people messing up time and time again. So it's learning about what you can say, what you can't say. A lot of that is just reading up, educating yourselves, educating each other, learning about the kind of platforms that we're using, what do Facebook's rules say, who owns content, how does LinkedIn work. And I think that, we could probably sum up what we're seeing in the workplace in two broad categories. The first is where you bring your employer into disrepute by your content online. The other, I think, is more interesting because that's where you bite the hand that feeds you. So you've got a lot of contracts, right? You are contracted to all sorts of companies, you've got sponsors, you're a brand ambassador for people. That means you have a duty to act in the best interests of those companies to which you've been contracted. You must have first-hand experience of how beneficial social media can be, not just to your profession, but just to your whole brand.
It's not about how bad it is, it's about how well you can use it to your advantage or how positive you can make it. And I think that's the beautiful thing about social media. Everyone now has a voice. We've seen how social media is slowly growing into another industry altogether, where an influencer now is someone who actually has an occupation.
It's a job.
It is a job now where you can make tons of money.
The extraordinary thing about social media is that you don't have to be a famous person.
Yeah.
And you have instant access to an international public platform.
Yeah.
I don't think you're just on Instagram. You're one of the most followed people in South Africa, aren't you? How many followers do you have?
I have 337,000.
Only.
I didn't say just or only, but it always fascinates me as to why.
So if I had to sum it all up, I think in two rules. The first is be yourself. Don't think you're anonymous online. Don't think that you are anybody online that you aren't in the real world. If you wouldn't stand up in a boardroom with the board of the company, your CEO, the chairman, the MD, and say what you're about to say, then don't say it.
I'd say definitely consistency is very important. I try and be as consistent as possible, whether it's either presence or whatever I seem to have an opinion on, or what I like. I seem to have a lot of different interests. I know I have a lot of different interests, but if you're going to have an opinion with that consistency, make sure that it's an informed opinion, and don't put anything out there that is also not factual, because you can also set yourself up for a lot of backlash from that.
You look at it within the four corners of the update, of the status, of the tweet. So be conscious that you lose context.
Yeah.
Be conscious that you often lose tone. I think emojis can help a little bit, but in general terms, think to yourself that this content lacks tone. What I say to you now, if I'm joking, if I put it online, it's quite difficult to work out whether that person is joking, and then you lose control over your audience, because what's funny to you and your mates around the table at the end of a fun, drunken evening is not going to be funny to somebody on the other side of the planet.
And sarcasm here isn't something that's received or spotted very well.
The last rule, the most important rule, the billboard test. If you wouldn't put it on a billboard next to a huge photograph of your face, your name, the name of the company you work for, or the name of the company you'd like to work for, don't just not put it online. Don't let it exist in digital format.
Yeah, and don't ever be naive to think that if you say something that you'll get away with it quite easily.
Yeah, I always say Facebook is for my friends and Twitter is for the people I'd like to be my friends.
Yeah.
But it's just from my personal, professional point of view.
This is why you're still asking me to follow you. I do follow her, side note.